Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including four-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a four-time champion of the NASCAR Pekin Freeze iRacing Series.
Three-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a three-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Howdy everybody, and welcome to the iRacing IndyCar series here at Red Bull Ring. We're here in the hills of Austria. An odd spot to usually be holding a IndyCar race, but hey, that's the joy of sim racing. We get to go whenever we want, wherever we want, and have a great time doing it. I'm Austin I'm joined by Marco Bobnera, and you're here live watching Apex Racing TV.
Oh yes, Austin, I remember back in the day, like it was the final years of Champ Car, there was insistent rumors of having a Champ Car race at Mugello. So think back of those days. This is a perfect place, I think, to have some fun with these cars, and certainly something unique you don't see every day, and you certainly won't see in real life. So I say we enjoy the race. There's plenty of passing spots, and one of the newer tracks on iRacing. So yeah, let's enjoy this fantastic race here from Red Bull Ring as we enter in the second half of the season. And surprise, surprise, we have the standings for you. Adriano Pinheiro leads the way with 2 points over Adam Crane. Alexander Van de Zandt is at 979. Philip Cross is at 934, and you can see a big gap there to Connor Harrington down in 5th. But of course, 4 drop rounds. We are, 6 rounds scored, so it's still a long way to go, and a lot of things can of course change as we enter deeper and deeper into the season. You see the rest of the championship standings of the top 25 of the official iRacing standings on your screen. And as qualifying is underway, Austin, what can we expect today?
We can expect a lot of craziness out here on track. Currently it's qualifying, so everybody is going around on those red tires, and well, it's Red Bull Ring. It's a lot of fast speeds, heavy braking zones. Was listening to a few of the drivers coming up to the week. They were looking for a much lower downforce package originally, but when they got onto track, we're going to be seeing everybody with all that high downforce aero on their car. But I thought we were going to be seeing a maybe Homestead Miami road course viral. We see a few drivers using that lower aero, but no, everyone's seeming like that higher downforce was the right call, with that middle sector just proving a little bit too hard for the medium downforce. But yeah, it's Red Bull Ring. It's high speed, heavy braking zone. We're going to have a lot of drafts, so it's going to be a big pack race here. Everything that makes IndyCar road course racing so fantastic to watch.
By the way, quick look at the weather, Austin. With 80 Fahrenheit on the racetrack, it's basically bang in the middle of the day. So it's going to be... It's not... I say we can expect the track getting a little bit hotter as we go along with the race. There is not enough time to have it cool down, especially with 22 cars running around.
Indeed, and it's not like what we had last week at Zandvoort with the tire strategies taking advantage of that colder weather. So I believe it's going to be reds to reds, but hey, Adam Blocker did it last time with the reds to primaries. We might see him try to do it again. The tire fall off is about 1.5 seconds at the end of the stint, so if somebody can just bury the car into the draft and keep it there for the rest of the stint, they're going to be a lot better through that second sector than the car in front of them if they're on primaries versus the reds.
I think we just have to wait for final few drivers that are on a fast lap. One of them being Adam Blocker, who's still without a time, so a little bit of trouble for him in this qualifying session, leaving everything at the end. But with a 1 minute 14 lap, he should be okay. He's currently, I think, in his first fast lap. It's always a bit tough to gather where a driver is, especially during qualifying. Sometimes the lap counter that we get on our timing screen is a bit off, but certainly it wants to at least set down a benchmark. Sorry, just a little bit of a valid lap time, yeah, and work from there. So here we go, start finish time for Adam Blocker, highest rated driver in the room, fifth place, and he's slowing down. Therefore, this was his only attempt, or maybe his last attempt.
Yeah, that was his last attempt. He's
and
not
Craig,
the only one
sixth.
with one lap. Yeah, Richard Craig gets up there into 6th place, but that was not the only driver with one lap. Connor Harrington, our pole sitter, professional pole sitter, is only got one lap in, as well as our IndyCar Championship leader, Pinero, also had a one lapper as well. Jason Brophy in 12th place. 1 lap, and AJ Musselin down in 17th also had a 1 lap as well. So a few drivers doing one and done, or one and then got a off track off the exit of one and then parked it. So we're going to go to the full on 8 minutes here, as there are still drivers with laps on board. Jason Willett is down in 22nd, has not gotten out on track, so will not be starting with a time. Tommy Milner, the number 14 car, did 2 laps but didn't get a single valid lap. They'll be starting from the back of the field as well.
Exactly. Tommy Milner, I know that guy, as one would say, of course, a factory driver for GM, and has had, of course, he's a household name in sports car racing, so very happy to have him here. Not think it's his first time on Apex Racing TV. In fact, he had a couple of Dinner with Racers appearances. I think he won the World Final race from Monza a couple of years ago, where the you know, the normal drivers were running, like me and you were running in the HPD, and the pro drivers, him and other guys, were running around in the same race with the legend around the Monza Oval, and I think he won the race in the pro category. It was an absolutely fantastic event. But enough of that, and on with the starting grid for tonight's race, the first race of the week.
I can make a correction right there. He did not win the overall race.
No, he just won his class, of course. Not his overall race. He was a billion laps down, as you know. You get HPDs and legends. But Connor Harrington, pole position in front of Adam Crane, Philip Cross. So this is the top 3 we've been used to see on the road courses. But Jack Marra from Down Under, in his first appearance in the SOF race, starts in 4th place. Adam Blocker will be 5th, and Rashad Craig in 6th. Joao Di Gregorio in 7th, in front of his fellow countryman Adriano Pinheiro, the championship leader, is down in 8th. David Porcelli and Mitchell Welker are 9th and 10th, with Timothy Vaughan, the driver from Down Under, and another household name in IndyCar racing on iRacing, Jason Brophy, down in 12th place. We then have Brian Carey from Canada and another Canadian in Kevin Boulassa. Ryan Harding in P15 in front of Nathan Rees. A.J. Musselman is in 17th in front of Rob Bungolniaks, who's not exceptional qualifying for him. Eric Miller and Ian Thompson are the last 2 drivers with a valid lap time, and rounding up the grid, as we were saying earlier, Tommy Milner and Jason Wallott, and of course Austin, as is tradition, a rolling start.
Yeah, rolling start as always here in IndyCar, so we aren't going to have a standing start. But luckily for us, it is a iRacing new track, so we'll be starting right in front of the giant Red Bull statue here, as we just have about 4 corners here on this rolling start, and then it's a race down at turn 1. After that, pace car pulls off a very early pull-off, so we might see some games heading into that final corner when Connor Harrington and Adam Crane are going to go. It's all up to them when that pace car pulls in, so they got 1 corner to their advantage, so it's not going to be like Zandvoort where everyone's all bunched up at the end. This might lead to a pretty spread start, but the cars get on rolling. It's time to get on ready to get rocking here.
Everybody on the alternates apart from Brian Carey. And we don't know about Musselman and Wallott because they're in the pits. No, Musselman with
Musselman's on alternates.
And Wallott, we don't know.
Has not spawned in yet.
Yeah, he's not in the car right now.
Yeah, he's not in the car. He has the primary selected, though. But yeah, only 1 primary taker might be going for a reverse strategy with a longer stint, the full 18.5 gallons on the first line. They're letting that pace car get really far away, so Harrington letting everybody bunch up. This might be a very early start heading to that final corner. Pace car is in right now. All up to Connor Harrington as they round that final corner, and it's green, green, green immediately as we are underway here for the iRacing IndyCar Series here at Red Bull Ring. Great run down at turn 1. A few cars getting a little bit loose. Big lockup. We got Rashad Craig's around. We got 2 cars around. We got contacted. That
Pinheiro is off, the championship
Pinheiro,
leader.
The championship the back right wheel is damaged. That back right wheel is off the car. The championship leader is in a big incident at the start. And look at that move around the outside. David Porcelli getting onto the brakes, swinging around the outside of that fight for 7th place. He's side by side with Vaughn right there. Mitchell Weckler, as they're side by side heading into turn 3 even more. Oh my goodness, that is awesome.
A lot of drivers using push to pass on the backstretch. Not Adam Crane and not Adam Blocker, but Cross, Harrington, Di Gregorio. Porcelli used 2 of them already, as they are entering already in the final few corners of the lap, as they are risking by going into the gravel there. See Jason Brophy, Kevin Boulassa, and now Brian Carey comes around Boulassa maybe with a slowdown.
Yeah, I believe Boulassa has a little bit of a slowdown from that little S section. You can just cut that corner just a little bit and you will get a slowdown for that. But yeah, immediately off the line, I saw about 3 to 5 drivers. My timing screen lit up with everyone using push to pass off the line when that green flag dropped. But yeah, Harrington, 7/10 gap to Crane right behind him. And championship implications, Pinheiro, our championship leader, has gone into the pit lane. He's towed back into the pit lane, so he's down there in 21st. As Jason Willett has not gotten onto the track yet, so disastrous race for our championship leader. This will be big when drop weeks come into preparations and when everybody sees their season come into view. But this is definitely a race that will be dropped for him.
Oh, we have more trouble at the back.
Oh no, that's Kevin.
And Angel Niex also, and Jack Marra, who had a terrible first lap, is down into P number 15. He lost 11 places from the start of the race.
Yeah, he spun at the exit of turn 1. Here's that replay, just got it onto that yellow curb, spun around, and makes a big impact to the wall, but I believe his car is all right there. But that is so unfortunate. Let's right on board to Philip Kraus in 3rd place. Philip sitting behind Crane. Crane closing that gap to Connor Harrington. Everybody separated by 7 to 4 tenths right here. 4 tenths to Crane, 7 tenths from Crane to Harrington. So they're all being affected by the draft, and they're all just going to be sitting in there at the front trying to pull away from everybody else. But the draft is really going to be playing a lot of ground here today. That and tire wear. So the cars up front really going to be having fun with the tire wear. They don't have to push it as hard. The cars behind the cars up front are going to be affected by that dirty air. They're going to be struggling on those tires at the end of this race. This is Tommy Milner behind Nathan Rees. Nathan Rees going window shopping way wide. Milner up onto the inside. They both go wide right there, but Milner up into 12th place right there.
Yeah, and I think Rees doesn't have an answer for that move. Bit of chaos in the pits.
Yeah, we got 2 cars in the pits. Owen Next and Eric Milner into the pits. Richard Craig, I believe, has left the pits and left the session. And he's down in 20th. Very unfortunate start of the race to him. I know a few drivers are really excited to see this, but, you know, Red Bull Ring, it's kind of home to a little bit of chaos with turns 1 and 2 being heavy braking zones, and, you know, very easy for cars to just get a little ambitious right there.
On board with Jason Brophy, looking back at Ryan Harding. This is a fight for 10th and 11th place, with Tommy Milner quickly coming back behind them, now sitting in P12 and shaking off Nathan Rees from behind him. But look at that, because Harding is really getting closer and closer to Brophy as they go down the penultimate and the last corner. You can use a little bit more than usual of the track limits here than you are, of course, allowed normally on iRacing due to the new off-track system that they implemented here. And here we go, Harding once again, very aggressive, Austin.
Very aggressive and very close braking with these 2 drivers heading into turn 1. Both of them seemingly using the same braking point and just staying glued to each other. Ryan Harding now backing up. That's bit deep once more. It's the lockup as well for Jason Brophy, as Brian Carey up ahead also had a big lockup. And look who has joined the fight, Tommy Milner. It's now a 3-car fight for 10th. This is Timothy Vaughn going very slow coming out of turn 3.
And just in front of these guys, and I think maybe just a spin, nothing more than that. But there is a wall there that's very easy to hit when you spin. So let's get another look at it, Austin. And we're going down the hill.
I didn't see damage, but we can get a... Oh, that is a spin. Heading into the corner, got back onto the throttle and just kept it on the inside of the track. That's an unfortunate spin for Timothy Vaughn, because he was involved with that fight for 5th place. Let's ride back on Philip Kraus.
Oh, here comes Milner. And he gets the job done, Austin. And so is Ian Thompson on Nathan Rees. There we go.
Nathan Rees been struggling. Ooh, he got a little bit tricky with that curb, but everything's all looking good. Hey, 3-car fight. Jason Bruffy on that outside, looking down the inside. Tommy Milner gonna make it 2 for 2 in 2 corners, and yes, he does. Tommy Milner up into 10th.
And maybe a mistake there from Bruffy because he was going incredibly slow onto the backstretch. Here comes Harding. It's another easy move, so something must be wrong with the number 20 car, or maybe he's just struggling a bit in this 6th lap. I don't know if you can take it easy in these cars.
No, you can take it easy. You just end up off the pace, but you know, some of these drivers need to take a little bit of a breather, cool down the tires, maybe look after their tire wear, because it's so easy to overheat these tires here. Really crank it into the corner. You're going to be scrubbing off a lot of speed and a lot of rubber off of them, as that's a big curb strike for Crane.
Jack Marra on the comeback trail. Turn 1 is proving to be a popular passing spot, Austin.
Hey, it's a big, you got a good run up right there. It's not a giant run up like you have in a turn 2, but it's a giant braking zone. And if you just really lock down those corners, you're going to be making moves up down to the inside. And turn 3 is a very good overtaking spot, as well as Blocker and Gregorio side by side through there. Blocker trying to hold it around the outside. And speaking around the outside, Philip Krause and Adam Crane going side by side through turns 5 and 6. And look at Krause still around the outside. He's got that inside line heading into the S's. Don't get all the way off to the right, because you will get a slowdown if you do. But Krause making it work, jumps up into 2nd place ahead of Adam Crane.
Great pass, great battle, fair between these two drivers. Now let's see if Adam has something to answer what Philip just did. Connor Harrington there at the front, of course, smiling under his helmet, gaining big on this lap as these guys are fighting. And we might have a massive battle pack for 2nd place in a bit, Austin.
Yeah, we do. We got 6 cars in this train. Krause, Crane, Gregorio, Blocker, Porcelli, and Welker at the back of this grid as we, well, back in this pack as we head into the brake zone of turn 2. Everyone bunching up. But yeah, everybody lined up nose to tail with each other. And it's strange to see Adam Blocker down there in 5th place right now.
Yeah, a bit of, I mean, of course, very quick still, but qualifying was not as high as we were expecting him. And of course, in the race now,
he did only have 1 lap. But yeah, to push the track to its limits, you do maybe have to go get an X here and there. And we might see a few drivers picking up an X here and there to get a little bit faster. That's Gregorio getting a lot of understeer through the corner. That happens throughout the run here. You will lose a lot of turn-in ability in the front. So seeing that already happen, that's Jason Brophy up in the S's and into... Ooh. Yeah, self-spin right there. Back to our fight for 2nd place. Krause leading out the field, followed by Crane right behind him.
Gregorio in 4th and Blocker in 5th, Porcelli in 6th, and Mitchell Welker is sitting in 7th place. But Connor Harrington having a nice run at the front. 2.8 seconds is the gap, and Austin in a bit. It's time to start, thinking about pit stops.
Yeah, pit stops are going to be pretty interesting. These drivers can, on this first stint, can go all the way, and then they'll have all the way as long as they want, and then have a much shorter stop, kind of shorter 2nd stint, kind of like what we saw at Zandvoort. But Tiger strategy, it looks like Reds is going to be the most popular option once again, but you know, after last week with Reds the primary, with what Adam Blocker did, we might see that come into play as well, but I am not sure. They say the tires lose about 1.5 seconds at the end of their life, so that might lean into a little bit of advantage if you use primary and just able to stay at the back of the train. We're definitely going to be seeing on how that works. Currently, our only primary driver is down in 9th place, and that's Brian Carey.
On board with Porcelli, who was a little bit wider on the entry.
Yeah, Porcelli got a little bit squirrely on that entry, struggling behind Adam Blocker. You're watching him working that steering wheel, making little small adjustments here and there, but definitely starting to get a little bit more aggressive on the steering, especially dealing with that dirty air. Here is Gregorio in 4th place behind Crane. Crane going out wide, kicking up that dust, and Gregorio staying on the track right there. But yeah, that dirty air is going to be really affecting him and affecting a few of these drivers. But I believe here comes the Brazilian. He's activated push to pass right now on that straightaway, heading into turn 2. Going through 2A right now, going all the way to the inside, then swinging onto the outside, heavy into the braking zone, side by side. Crane sends it up down low. Here comes Blocker down low as well. Blocker and Crane, both of them getting onto the power, but Crane getting onto the push to pass to defend from Gregorio off the exit. Great fighting right here in the fight for 3rd place, side by side as well. Back behind, that's Porcelli on the outside and Welker down the inside, as Mitchell down into turn 3, down to the inside and up into P6.
Yeah, Mitchell using a little bit of the accordion effect we had there with all this fighting, and probably David had to lift a bit. He found the opening and went for it, and he gets 6th place for his effort. But Adam Crane, as you can see here, Austin, losing contact with Philip Krause, so certainly in this second half of the first stint, Philip is really pushing hard, even though the gap with Harrington is still the same, but he's pulling away, and this is crucial for his race, of course, from Crane and the rest of this chasing pack.
Yeah, that overtake attempt by Gregorio really hurt his pace right there. That allowed for Krause to start pulling away. Here comes Porcelli back on the front, on the side straight, heading up into turn 2, heavy on the brakes, down the inside. Once again comes Welker, but Porcelli on the outside activates push to pass and flies past him on the straight, heading into turn 3, dives down low to defend from the possible overtake as Porcelli P6.
So back to it. And now Crane is really in trouble.
Yeah, Crane has the Brazilian on his tail and Adam Blocker as well. So these 3 are really going to be hunting each other down for that 3rd place spot. But Adam Crane is going to be having much better aero now. That Krause is pulled away as we come across the line. 25 laps to go here at Red Bull Ring.
Oh, somebody locked up there. Just a lock up.
Not sure who that was. Might have been Welker.
It could have very well been. He's now using push to pass. He's now not using push to pass. It's Timothy Vaughan behind them that's using push to pass. As Kevin Boulassa on Nathan Rees. This is for P14. And there we go. Nice job. But this fight here, let's go on board with Adam Blocker, because of course G. Gregorio is going for the move on Crane, but he has to look in the mirror because Blocker is incredibly close as well. So it can be one of those situations also when you go for a move and then instead of gaining a place, you lose a place or more.
You really gonna have to pick your spots. I'm looking at our possible pit window right now. It's about lap 15 is when we should start seeing drivers head into the pits right now. That's in 2 laps. We just started lap 13 with these drivers, so 2 laps from now is when we're going to start seeing drivers. If they loaded up their car with less fuel at the start and are going for that longer second stint, this is when they're going to start going into the pits. But if you went with a full pit amount, about lap 18, lap 19 is when we're going to be seeing everybody loose. Ooh, Porcelli loose on the brakes.
Yeah, big mistake from David there, and he went very, very deep, and Mitchell Welker got what basically was a freebie.
Yeah, it's a combination of a front wheel lockup and trying to avoid down the inside of Welker. You saw him braking on the curb, so you're not going to have enough rubber to ground contact to slow down as efficiently. So you did have a front wheel lockup right there, but saved it. Very heads up driving by Porcelli to keep that car pointed straight and keep it in the race. Down into 7th now, but in cleaner air to look after those tires.
Still no takers from the top 7 or 8 drivers.
Well, we're on laps 14 now. I said 16 to 19 is the window, theoretically.
And of course we have to, Austin, keep an eye on Brian Carey here. He's the
only driver on primaries.
Yeah, the only brave soul on primaries. Maybe he knows something we don't know, which is quite possible.
Quite possible indeed. Adam Blocker definitely surprised us with that move onto primaries late into the race. That fall off really worked to his advantage, and so did the weather, preventing those reds from really getting up to speed and up to grip for them to take all that advantage. But Blocker stuck behind Gregorio right here, and Gregorio big lockup into turn 3. So Adam Blocker really looking after his tires right now, doing a little data testing, seeing if the primaries might work better for him at the end of the stint, because the understeer is really on right now with these cars that are just absolutely worn on the tires. We head down into turn 1, hard on the brakes, and everyone goes. Currently right now at this top 5, everybody's just staying with each other. Blocker looking down to the inside. That's just to stay in the draft. He's really pulled away from Welker. Welker's not close enough to really make a move. I don't think there's anybody close enough to make a move, but Blocker in the brake zone closed a big gap to Gregorio as we see that gap right there. But Blocker, are we going to be seeing him move down the inside? No, we are not. He is applying pressure.
He really is, Austin, and I think Blocker is having a little bit more speed in this part of the race than the cars around him. But of course, if the pace is so similar, even that doesn't really make sense at first glance, but if you know what I mean, right? It's difficult to make the pass. So Blocker has a bit more speed, but still is not a huge difference to make the move easy, especially because we are at the top end of the field. These are incredibly high quality drivers that are fighting for the same piece of real estate.
And if you want to know on how similarly paced everyone is, first all the way down to 9th are putting in nearly identical times, separated just by 4/10. Between the top 9 drivers, 4/10 separate their lap times. They're all running an average of 1:15.7 lap times right there. And Brian Carey on the primaries is matching them. He's actually gone faster last lap than most of the drivers up ahead. So the primaries, I believe, are now showing their advantage now. But Brian Carey down in 9th place is really going to have to start making up some gap to Vaughn ahead of him and show that, hey, the primaries are in the world of their own right now, and possibly the tire to be on in these closing laps of this race.
Austin, of course, we have seen throughout these first 7 weeks of the championship, those first couple of laps after the pit stop, they are crucial because this car and cold tires are always a tough combination.
Battle for 5th. Welker made a move on Adam Blocker as we were away from that. As think Blocker might have gone a little bit wide in the final 2 corners. Let's get a Apex Racing TV replay right here. Oh!
Yeah.
Well, that's a bit different than I was expecting. It looked like Blocker was looking to go into the pits right there.
Yeah. It's strange. It doesn't seem like from the outside it looks like he lost it, but from on board it looked like
it looked controlled.
Yeah.
That is odd. You can see that he was really struggling to keep the car really turned in right there, and has kept the wheel turned as well in the right angle to go into the pit lane, but no. He's just struggling to keep that car turned. We do have our first car into the pits. That's Nathan Reese heading in to the pits right now on lap 17. So first taker right there. Swapped out those reds for a fresh set of reds. Here comes Adam Crane diving into the pit lane from 3rd place.
And Blocker.
Here comes Blocker. I know these drivers, they have their own spotters with them. The IndyCar iRacing series, I know last race had about even with us, about 10 spotters, 10 viewers in the room spectating. There were all the other crew chiefs that these drivers had spotters, and look at that. Blocker has switched on to primaries, as well as Adam Crane.
Yes, they did. Okay, interesting. I like when we have surprises, Austin, you know?
I love surprises like this. I love when the notes we give that it says, oh, we're just expecting alternate race, and then, you know, drivers saw what happened last race. Here we go. And Jason has given us a message that if anyone's wondering where he was, he could not low in. CPU start related problems. That is so unfortunate, Jason.
It is, yeah.
CPU failures, the engine failure of iRacing.
Harrington now.
Harrington heading into the pits, big on the brakes right here. Are we going to be seeing our leaders now? Because we saw Crane swap on the primaries. Are we going to be seeing any of our top runners as well? Harrington, Kraus, Gregorio, Porcelli, Welker hop onto the primaries as well, because Kraus and Crane and Blocker, both of them hopped onto the primaries. And Brian Carey now takes the lead on his primary set. And yep, Philip Kraus dives, switches on. Yeah, Kraus is the only one who took primaries right there. Harrington took reds. Everybody else took reds as well. So we had 3 total takers going on to the primaries now. And there is Adam Crane on the primaries. He's going to be coming out behind Philip Kraus. He's also on the primaries. There's Adam Blocker, who is sandwiched by Gregorio and Welker, who are both on the alternates. And now let's watch these new tires work their magic, because Blocker is really going to have to stay in this group now and make sure his tires stay alive while these reds wear themselves out.
Here's our new leader, Brian Carey. If anything, his decision has given him a lap in the lead and some TV time.
Yeah, TV time. Tank on fumes, dives it down into the pit lane. Tommy Milner up into P2. He's going to be doing probably the same thing. Yes, he is. And back to Connor Harrington, our actual race leader now on his new alternate tires, with Philip Kraus right behind him on his primaries, as well as Gregorio on primaries, Adam Crane on primaries, and Crane is on push to pass right now, trying to make up some gap on that straight to stay ahead of Gregorio.
Everyone on push to pass right now, even Harrington there at the front, so they know these are crucial laps. And Di Gregorio looking on the inside here. Is he going for it?
Yes, Austin. He really sent it into that corner, and he made that move work. And on the straight, it's not using a lot of rubber on those reds. On the exit, though, it did use a bit of rubber on those rear reds. So Gregorio in the best spot to be if you're on those red tires and want to look after him in that clean air. And with Crane and Blocker on primaries behind him, he's going to be really pushing these next few laps to try to build a gap and get out of the draft for these two. I love it when we have drivers that are really pushing the car and just try to get it on strategy as well. It really makes sim racing much more paying off, especially when you got a team behind you. The strategists really earned their money right here. And we see that the F1 side of things at the top level of sim racing here on iRacing with the multiple tire compounds, and here on IndyCar with the decision between alternates and primaries, especially on this new iRacing tire model for these IndyCars. And here comes the Blocker looking up the inside of Adam Crane. They almost have a two-touch collision here. Big collision up at the front. Adam Crane and Adam Blocker. Big crash at turn 2.
Massive damage for Blocker, and Crane as well is missing side pod.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not missing, he's flapping around on his right side. Deary me, Austin.
That is so unfortunate. Crane was on the inside. Blocker went on to the inside as well. There was a gap, but then there wasn't a gap at all. Blocker had nowhere to go. Massive contact heading into turn 2. Luckily, nobody else was involved in there, but, you know, that was the run for Blocker and Crane. They're going to have to go back to the pits and, you know, try to salvage the race. Adam Crane staying out. Even with that side pod damage, I believe he's just saying, I'm just going to try to finish this race as best I can. Adam Blocker, though, is definitely going to be diving into the pits, get that repaired. So this is Brian Carey. Whoa!
No, Blocker has to pit because his car is completely smashed at the front. And if this was real life, Crane would have a mechanical black flag.
Yes. You can still get a mechanical black flag, but yeah, that side pod damage, it's not as affecting him that hard.
It must be in the ground. I think it's sitting the ground. Like at the very least, it's causing some friction with the ground.
Yeah, so right side pod that's really struggling with Adam Crane, but I think Crane's in that mindset that he's just going to drive the rest of this race. It's 15 laps to go. He's not going to be enjoying it, but it's going to be faster in his mind to stay out, not take the damage repair, and just try to salvage as much as he can in this race, because he's got 5 seconds to Brian Carey behind him, and he's lapping about 3 seconds slower than everybody else. And there's Adam Blocker. New front wing on that car. Pretty fast front nose repair here, but that was the only damage that he had on that car. And let's take a replay once again from Adam Blocker's point of view. Push to pass enabled, and he thought he had room on the inside, but when you're looking at it, there is about half a car width of room right there. Well defended by Crane. Blocker could have gone on the outside, but yeah, not really enough room to really try to attempt right there.
As a personal experience, which came a couple of days ago, got a big hit on the side pod in the Oval Series, and it was flapping just like this, and to my surprise, it was completely repaired.
Yes,
but yes, of course, you don't want to do an extra stop, of course, if you're Crane, and we don't know if he has a mechanical black flag or not, but
I don't believe he does. He would have gone into the pits if he does. I know you can drive around with 3 laps if you do have a mechanical black flag before you're disqualified, but Adam Crane, you know, if he saw that he had a mechanical black flag, he would have hit it by now. But he is noticeably off pace, just putting down a 117 as we ride on board of Mitchell Welker, who is holding off David Porcelli behind him in 5th place.
And these two guys have been battling for the entirety of the race, I think, at this point, Austin.
Yeah, they've been nose to tail with each other for a while. David Porcelli made up some ground to get up to Mitchell Welker. They started around each other. Welker had the better start, out of both of them, I can say that, as he's jumped up 6 spots compared to Percelli jumping up 4 spots off the line. Biggest mover of the field is Tommy Milner, who didn't have a valid qualifying lap today, so his job was just push as hard as he can and make as much ground as he can. He's up 13 spots, sitting in P8.
Ian Thompson and Timothy Vaughn battling it out for P13. This is the closest fight we have on the field right now.
Vaughn with push to pass, trying to get onto the inside. He does have a nose down in there, really sending it into the break zone right there. And what a move by Timothy Vaughn.
Yeah, and Thompson already losing some ground, as there was a little mistake, I think, from Porcelli as we were looking away, and he lost a bit of ground. Oh, well, that's a bit more than a little mistake, Austin.
It was a hair-raising mistake, I can guarantee you that one. I know Porcelli has family watching. Alexander Porcelli in the chat right now, cheering on David right here. That would give it a little bit of a shock, but David kept it pointed straight right now and still in P5, and now back onto the charge of Mitchell. Looking at the field right now and the lap times, Philip Kraus is currently lapping faster than Connor Harrington on those primaries. Down 4 and 8/10 of a second heading into turn 1. Kraus and Harrington, that tire strategy is really looking tasty between them. 2/10 faster this time by for Philip Kraus compared to Connor Harrington. And this is where we're really going to have to see, are these primary tires going to be faster than Connor Harrington's alternates? And can he close up that gap with 11 laps to go? Here's Brian Carey. Getting up a lot of ground, but he's not really going to send it down to the inside. Adam Crane ahead of him with that very damaged side pod. Shouldn't be too much of a problem for Carey, as here comes Carey down to the inside, hard onto the brakes. And goes a little bit deep, but making everything work pretty good.
Yep. That wounded car, of course, will need some... Oh no,
TLC.
Tommy Miller is off.
Oh no. Too deep into turn 3. No damage I can see on the car. This is just a self... just gone a little bit wide. Yeah, too deep. Got caught in the gravel right there. Has fallen down to P9 now. Mara up into P8.
And Jack Mara, of course, making a valiant comeback effort after starting, on the second row of the grid, surprising everyone, including us.
And spinning in turn 1.
Exactly.
Yeah, he had a little date with the sausage curb on the outside, and well, just too much mustard off the eggs, and it went spinning, and it almost had the same thing right there. Got up onto the curb. Get up to the curb, just don't ride it.
Our viewer Ryan Flanagan wants the championship standings. They are at the very beginning of the broadcast. If you can go back with the video on demand, you can. It's an option we give you to the viewers. So just go back to the start of the broadcast, and you can see the championship standings, or you can see them in iRacing, provided you have, of course, an iRacing subscription. Select the championship and go to statistics. This is the IndyCar Open Series, I think, on the drop-down menu in iRacing.
Yes, and you can see all the detailed information on season standings. You can see the standings for the previous week, the current week, even though it would just be showing this race and and specific division standings as well. But everyone's interested in the overall standings, and our overall championship leader, Pinero, was involved in an incident at the start of the race, and he's down in 18th. He's actually back out on track right now.
He is, absolutely. He's in P18, and of course championship standings and the championship points are, of course, awarded based on the strength of field, and every position scores points. Therefore, you always want to try, especially because if you score...
Here comes Tommy.
Ooh, yeah. Here he comes on the inside, Austin.
Yeah, down the inside, had a much better exit than Mara. On the outside, had a little bit of an incident coming out of the corner. Mara defending on the inside line, but Tommy Milner down onto the inside, hard onto the brakes, and back into P8, into turn 3, which is where he had that little incident as well. But Tommy Milner back into 8th. But yeah, Pinheiro not giving up at all. Back out on track, a few laps down. But yeah, if you complete as much laps as you can still get championship points. Championship points will still be given to you. Even if you do finish down there, you have to complete, I believe, 70% of the laps.
You get points, you get points regardless.
Regardless? Okay.
Yes.
I thought it was a lap completion, but no, that was participation.
Exactly. Participation is half of the race plus 1 lap.
All right.
Or something like that.
Done that.
Yeah.
He's already done that. 25 laps completed for Pinheiro. Right here, as we're still watching this fight for P8 between Jack Mara and Tommy Milner. As I'm looking at our lap times again, 6/10 faster is Philip Kraus. Now, and he's closed that gap to 3.8 seconds now. He's gained a second since we last checked on him between him and Harrington. Kraus is closing in, but is it going to be enough with 7 laps to go on these primaries?
There's Connor Harrington leading the way, and Philip Kraus using push to pass. It's 4 push to pass activations left for Connor Harrington and 5 for Philip Kraus.
Yeah, so Kraus really closing in that gap. 3.5 seconds heading into turn 3. This is where Kraus is going to have that advantage on those primaries.
Gregorio
all the track, and then Sun behind him, Gregorio, and yeah, that is Gregorio and a lapped car.
Lapped car, yeah, and Gregorio is cruising. No, cruising is not a right word because he's fought all the race long, but this could very well be his very first podium of the season as the lapped car moves out of the way and Gregorio sneaks past. This lap, 51.51 for Harrington, 15.51 for Harrington, and 15 flat for Kraus, who's boosting along the straight.
Yeah, he's getting a lot of time on that straight, and that is definitely something you want to do. Use as much of that push to pass as you can to try to close in that gap. Get into the draft, let the draft carry you along with him, and use those primaries in that second sector to really maximize your advantage ahead of the car, ahead of you, which is Connor Harrington, and he's closing that gap down to almost 3 seconds now, and he is really, really pushing. 5/10 gained last lap, 8/10 gained the lap before, and I believe 6/10 gained the lap before that. We do have a lap graphic as well. We will bring that up to you right about now to show you how much he's been gaining on Connor Harrington, because Harrington needs to start worrying about that, as here is that gap, 4/10, 1/10, 6/10, and that the last 3 laps is really when we started seeing that gap really improve. 1:15.45 for Connor Harrington. Philip Kraus, 1:15.04, identical lap time again, and he's closed that gap down to 3 seconds now. Push to pass activated for Kraus, charging in on Harrington, getting within that 2-second range.
After a bit of a break, the Welker-Porcelli battle is continuing. And this is going to be for 4th and 5th, unless they can catch back up to Di Gregorio or something happens to the cars in front of them.
Oh, look how much counter steering that David Porcelli was putting into that car was locked straight left. Coming out of that corner, he's dealing with a lot of oversteer. He's really punishing the rear of his car to try to stay with Welker. Welker was using push to pass on that straight to stay ahead of David Porcelli. Porcelli only has 2 uses left of push to pass, so he's definitely saving that system for the best. But, you know, tire wear is really going to be a problem here with 5 laps to go. And look at this fight right now. Side by side, Kevin! And look who's with there as well. Hey, let's go 3 wide off the exit. And a blocker's there as well. Blocker down to the inside.
Blocker now
Blocker
moving
going to
up,
try to make 2 moves as well. And that's Ryan Hardage around the outside. Down to the inside. Blocker makes the move. And Kevin Bohalasa, unfortunately, unable to get down the inside of Ryan heading into turn 3.
Miller and Marra still battling it out. But you can see looming large in the mirrors of Connor Harrington is Philip Cross.
Kraus got into the 14s last lap, 14.91. He's getting faster on these tires. 1.9 seconds separates him with 4 seconds to go. He is within the draft of Harrington ahead of him, or at least being affected a little bit by that dirty air, which will be helping him on that straight with 4 laps to go. He has 2 uses of push to pass left. He's going to be using those as at specific points, probably heading down turn 1 into turn 2, down that massive straight, using all that power to his advantage, using all the track and then some in those final corners, trying to maximize his time and close down that gap. 1.7 seconds. Last lap for Harrington, 15.42. Last lap for Kraus, 14.9. Both of them using push to pass coming out of turn 1. Harrington knows that he needs to make up some ground and keep Kraus behind him. This is looking just like an F1 Grand Prix at Circuit of the Americas yesterday.
So, Austin, what do you think? What do you reckon? Will Cross be able to make the move?
Well, he's certainly got the pace to make the move, but Harrington, he's got more push to pass left, and Harrington, he's got that cleaner air. Kraus has to still catch up to him and get within striking distance. It's not an automatic, yes, he's got it, no, he's got it. If you look at statistics, yes, he does got it, but, you know, statistics only say 1/3 of the battle. The rest of that battle comes up to driver's skill. And Kraus and Harrington are going to have a all-out war in these closing 3 laps, and here they come right now. Harrington through the final corner onto the front straight. There's Kraus right behind him. 1.5 seconds separate them. And they are very close that time by 0.3 faster for Kraus. Kraus being affected by that dirty air. But Harrington has traffic ahead of him. That's Pinero Championship leader ahead of him. Pinero's slowing up, staying to the left, and giving Harrington a little bit of draft. But watch where Pinero's going to be heading into turn 2. He's also going to be giving draft to Kraus coming out of this corner, but he's in Kraus's way off the exit. 1 push to pass remaining for both these drivers. Kraus using all the draft from Pinero, getting out of the draft, heading into turn 3. Right now, 1.2 seconds with 2 laps to go. The fight for the lead is within striking distance for Philip Kraus. He's got less than 2 laps to go now as they come around these next few corners. It's going to be white flag in the air for Connor Harrington and a 1 second gap to Kraus. He just has to keep his head down. They both got 1 push to pass opportunity left. Harrington has a little bit of traffic for him as well. White flag in the air. 1 more lap here at Red Bull Ring for the IndyCar Series. Harrington getting a little bit draft down the inside. That lap car staying on to the inside. Here comes Kraus hard onto the brakes. It's a half second gap. Kraus using all the track, using the curb as a launching point right there. He's on push to pass. Connor Harrington's on push to pass as well. Kraus is not on push to pass. He's just using the draft. Kraus has not used his push to pass right here. 8/10 separate him. Kraus using a lot of the exit. Kraus activates push to pass now. 8/10 separate them, and P1 right now. This is going down to the wire between these 2 drivers. Newer tires, fresher tires. but Kraus makes a little bit of mistake heading into turn 3, has a little bit of wiggle under braking. 6/10 separate them right now. Into sector 2 they go. We got a stricken car right there. That's her, Connor Harrington. Harrington had to take it in avoiding action. 3/10 separate them right now. 2 corners left for Harrington and Kraus. Who's it going to be? Harrington has a last car ahead of him as well. It's that double right-hander right now. 1 corner to go. Kraus, Harrington, who's going to have the better exit? Harrington and Kraus using all the track. It's going to be Connor Harrington at the line, taking the win at Red Bull Ring. What a drive and what a way to stay alive on those alternates from the charging Philip Kraus. That lapped car with that was driving without a rear wing. I'm not sure who that was, but that really gave Kraus a big scare. Was that
I don't know, Austin, but when the final lap started, there was a piece of debris in the final corner, and it was white.
I think that might have been Kevin Bohalassa's car that was stricken. Look at this fight to the end. Milner and Mara. That's going to be a photo finish at the line. It's going to be Milner by 0.03 of a second for 8th place. And this is Kevin Bohalassa, and it was, oh my gosh!
Wow, ouch.
Massive snap oversteer, and he sees the white flag. His car is massively damaged, and he's gonna drag that to the line. But Connor Harrington, that was the thing he didn't expect at all in that final lap, but he took that victory. He barely took it. He had to avoid everything thrown his way. What a victory by Connor Harrington. Pole and the win. Wow.
And a fantastic race, fantastic stuff. I love when, you know, it comes down to the wire. We saw that happen in Zandvoort as well, and tonight. But tonight, car that was in front after the pit stop stayed in front, and you know, it was super close. The saving grace for Connor Harrington, I think it was that in this track, the final part of the lap doesn't have any passing zone. It still would have been difficult, and you know, he's a hell of a driver, so I'm not saying that it was a slam dunk overtake, but it's so difficult to pass in the final portion of the lap. He had that big scare you were talking about, absolutely, coming out of the coming out of the middle portion of the lap with the lap traffic there with big damage, but we have the results for you, and what a race this has been once again here from the Red Bull Ring, and the results are on your screen with the winner. So it's a very nice after race party at Team Hype private label with Harrington and Kraus, you know, dominating this race in front of Jody Gregorio, who gets his first podium of the season in front of Mitchell Welker, David Porcelli and Brian Carey, the alternate driver, at least in the beginning of the race. Adam Crane fights back to 7th, and Tommy Miller is in 8th. Jack Marra fights back to 9th. Adam Blocker, another driver who's, of course, in a lot of trouble during the race, finishes up in 10th, another valiant effort for him. Ryan Harding in 11th in front of Timothy Vaughan and Jason Brophy. Ian Thompson was 14th in front of Kevin Boulassa. That heroically, I'd say, he finishes the race in front of Nathan Rees and AJ Musselman. The big blow to the championship, of course, Adriano Pinheiro. Yes, we have 4 drop rounds, but of course you never want to waste those 4 drop rounds on a disaster of a race, which was what happened to Adriano. Of course, Robert Ongelnieks in 19th, Eric Miller in 20th, Rashad Craig, who was involved in that wreck at the start. He was the car who spun and then collected Adriano involuntarily in turn 1, and then Jason Wallet, we talked with him, he briefly explained technical issues with his system, and unfortunately he had to settle to watch the race with us on YouTube. But now, as per usual, it's time for the interviews, and we are just waiting for drivers to show up, Austin. But in the meantime, we can tell you that next week it's back onto the ovals,
New Hampshire.
And it's New Hampshire, and it's the Magic Mile, Loudon, you know, as the older guys like me like to call it. And it's still a game, I think, Austin, of the inside line in turn 1, 2, and 3 and 4 is basically made of ice.
Yeah, New Hampshire is going to be very tricky for these drivers to find the right line through there. But hey, they have an entire week till next time to find that out. But hey, we got our race winner and second place standing by with us. Connor Harrington and Philip Kraus are standing by in the interview waiting area. And I believe DeGorio as well. But we're standing by with our race winner. Standing by with Marco, it's Connor Harrington.
Connor Harrington, welcome to the booth, and I'd say congratulations. It was certainly an interesting race out there with a split strategy between you and your teammate, and in the end, you were able to prevail. How does it feel?
Yeah, it feels great always to get a win here on Monday night. Yeah, it was a crazy race with a split strategy. I think you know, we looked at the times in the first stint, and it seemed like, you know, you'd fall off really hard there the last 4 or 5 laps, and so Phil took the hard tire there, and we were able to break away and gain a couple of seconds when we had some free air and clean track. We got a little caught up in some lap driving, but I know Phil did too, and that's part of racing. And boy, it was real close there at the end. You know, there wasn't much left on the surface of the tire, but just really great to get a nice win tonight.
Speaking of lap traffic, you know, you are in the final lap. You are, you know, your teammate is hunting you down with different tires, and you come out of the middle portion and you find Kevin with, you know, not much left on his car. And how was that?
Oh yeah, I know. Well, you know, you come down the hill there, and then you go around kind of that blind kind of snake up to the double left-hander, and you get around there, and you're like, why is there a car there going 50 mile an hour slower than everybody else? Oh God! And so, you know, we were just lucky to navigate it, and you know, I just wanted to be safe. I'm not really sure what he was trying to do. Even if we finished second to Phil, that would have been a really good finish for us. But yeah, it was really crazy there at the end.
And next week we are going to the Magic Mile of Loudon, New Hampshire, for our return to the ovals. How are you feeling about that?
I don't know. I think a lot of it is like setup based, so we'll have to put some time in this week and get a good setup for Loudon. Flat track racing, not necessarily my favorite thing to do. And this car might race a little funny, but we'll see. You know, it should be an interesting race as always.
Thanks a lot, Connor. Congrats on the win once again. Before we let you go, anyone you'd like to thank?
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody over at Private Label, Ethica Clothing, Tomahawk Shades. A special shout out to Tommy Milner tonight, our team owner, just hopping in off of, you know, almost a month of no racing and pulling out a P8 on a track that he's done about 5 laps on. So that was really cool to see. Yeah, just thank you to everybody that we're partnered with, and we'll catch you guys at the next one.
Thank you, Connor. Enjoy the victory, and catch you hopefully next time.
Thanks, guys.
Austin, I guess you're standing by with our second place finisher, right?
Yes, I am standing by with Philip Kraus. Philip decided to go onto the primaries after that second stop, and, well, what was a 5-second gap with about 11 laps to go has turned into a 0.03 of a second gap at 0.3 of a second gap at the end of the race. Philip, you were closing in like a mad dog in those final laps when those tires came into their own.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting to see the difference in strategy between Connor and I. I was kind of forced into it when I got stuck behind Crane the first run, so I had lost 3 seconds to him or so, something like that, and I figured, well, I'm not going to catch him on raw pace, because at the end of the stint right before our stops, I was maybe catching him a 10th or 2 a lap on the same tire, so I'm like, well, let's throw a Hail Mary, put on the blacks, and see what happens. And if they turned on a lap sooner, I might have got him, but it's just a ton of what-ifs there. It was a really fun race, though. It kind of reminds me of the F1 race that was on yesterday with Lewis chasing down Max.
Yeah, I've made that same exact comparison right there. You were charging down. It was at the same times as well. But yeah, the one thing that race didn't have, it didn't have a stricken car on the racing line throwing a Hail Mary and curveball as well in the final lap. Walk us through you seeing that car and Connor taking a massive evasive line on that final lap.
It was a bit spooky. It spooked up both of us. I think overall we both lost about the same amount of time, so it didn't affect the outcome at all. But yeah, not something you want to see on the last lap when you're trying to catch someone to win. for sure.
It might be something you want to see on the last lap if you're a fan, but, you know, outside of that, for a driver, it is extremely scary. But you two did an amazing job out there, out front today. It was a 1-2 for the team. Next week, it is New Hampshire at Loudon, a flat track global. How are you looking forward to that race? How are you going to prepare for it?
I like the short tracks. I'm not super confident in our short track package right now, but we'll have to see how it goes. Hopefully we can keep building off this momentum, because Connor and I swapped 1-2s these past 2 races. Maybe we can do it again next time out at New Hampshire. That'd definitely be nice.
All right, something to look forward to. Thank you, Philip. Congrats on a great race and a great show out there today, and a great charge as well. We'll see you on the oval next time, but before we let you go, Philip, anyone you want to thank?
Just a big shout out to Private Label Team Hype. Team owner Tommy Milner, of course. He was in the race, finished P8 after not being on the sim for a few months. So really good race from him, and yeah, just everyone at Private Label Team Hype, Ethica, Tomahawk Shades, and all them. It's an honor to drive for these boys.
They're definitely going to have a party after today. That was a great showing by all of y'all out there on track. Congrats once again, Philip, on a great finish. I'm going to swing it over to Marco. I believe we have another interview left.
Yes, we do.
Cheers.
We have... Thank you, Philip. We have our third place finisher, João Di Gregorio. João, welcome to the booth and congratulations on your first podium of the season. And in fact, he's so happy, João, that he cannot speak due to the emotion, Austin. We'll wait a second for him to gather his thoughts for us. One thing that I wanted to tell for next week, of course. João, can you hear us?
Hi guys, I can hear now.
Yes, awesome. Welcome and congratulations on the podium. How's it going?
It's still shaking from that crazy race. I wasn't expecting that. I just had time to practice on the server that Adam opened. First, I would like to send a kiss to my fiancée. She was watching right now, and man, I don't even know what to talk. What a crazy race! I think I enter on a concentration level that I never experienced before.
And I think this is your first podium, so you must be happy that, you know, the hard work you have been putting on this season is starting to pay off.
I started to race on IndyCar series last season, but the car changed a lot, and we have a Brazilian league that I'm racing now, so I'm on full dedication on this car, but I work doing liveries for iRacing, and liveries are taking so much time, so I didn't have time to practice. So I'm extremely happy. I don't even know what to say here. Just really thanks.
Next week we will be racing on the ovals. It's New Hampshire, so it's a very unique flat oval. Are you confident in your setup and race preparation for New Hampshire?
I don't have the ovals track. That's why I'm only doing the road, and I don't know nothing about the oval setup. So this is the next step. First, I'm gonna try to master the road, then go to the oval. You know, one step at a time. I think oval now it's way out of my league.
Sounds like a good plan. We can't wait to have you on the ovals in the future. Well, congratulations once again, and before we let you go, anyone you'd like to thank?
I would like to thank my sponsors, Eco Big Bags from Brazil, and Mendes Group. I forgot to upload delivery, but I will do, and next time I'll be racing with delivery. But just thanks everyone. And wow, what a race! Great.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, and enjoy the celebrations.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
And that was João Di Gregorio with our third place finish tonight. As I was saying, Austin, So in Europe we switched to the winter clock this week. So the next race on Monday is going to be for everyone, I think, of us around the world at a different time compared to this week, probably, or maybe not. In any case, it's still going to be the midnight GMT split, so you cannot go wrong with that. Just make the necessary calculations to see when midnight GMT is in your local time zone, and we will wait you here for New Hampshire. So yeah. Hopefully no one misses the race, because a lot of drivers and fans and sometimes commentators, it's the best week to make that it's very easy to make that mistake, and it's so easy during that week. But yeah, so plan accordingly.
Yeah, plan accordingly indeed. There is going to be a time change next week for New Hampshire, but thankfully we will have a few days to adapt to that, so y'all can look forward to see what iRacing says on the schedule when the first race is going to be. Check your local times to make sure you're here for New Hampshire here on Apex Racing TV for another round of the iRacing IndyCar Series. Thank you everyone to join us here today. I've been joined by Marco Barbadera. I'm Austin Knight, and I hope y'all have a good night.